Hello everyone, welcome to channel Qtomation. In today's session we will see about different type of mouse actions. For example, hover, double click, right click, etc. So let's start. What is exactly hover action? Sometimes in automation we have to hover on certain elements. So let me show you one simple example. So I am just opening this website. After opening this website, you can see three images. When I hover on first image, hovering means taking mouse just on that element. When you take your mouse pointer on that element, if you see, name and view profile is highlighted. It is visible. When I hover on second image, it is showing name user2 and view profile link. When I hover on third image, it is showing you name as user3 and view profile link. So this is called as a hovering action. So by using Playwright, how we can perform hover action, that we will see today. So what is my use case? I want to launch this website. After opening this website, I want to hover on first image, second image and third image. So let's go to Playwright. Let's go to Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, I am creating a new file. Let's name it as mouse action demo.spec.js. Now we have created a spec.js file. In this file, I will simply copy syntax. So we have to we are importing test and expect from Playwright test module. Let's name our test case. I'm naming it as mouse actions demo. Then we have created anonymous function in which we are passing page fixture. Async is the keyword which we have to use. This is our test block, and inside that we have to write await page.go to this website which we want to launch. I am just copying this and it will launch this website on the browser. So this website will be opened. After opening this website, I want to hover on these three images one after another. So first we have to capture the locator of element on which we want to hover. So first let me identify. So it is inside img tag. So let me just use img tag, control F, 2 times /img. Total 4 elements are getting captured. And now what I will do? What is the alt tag? Alt tag is user avatar. So let me just use that. So img @alt tag. So this is the XPath which we have written. And if you see, for this XPath, it is capturing all three images. So this XPath is capturing all the three images. Now what I will do, I want to let's create one locator. So first I will create for user1. So let's say constant user1 equals to await page.locator. Inside this locator I will pass this XPath. This XPath is pointing to total 1, 2 and 3 images. So if I want to capture the first only, we have to pass the index. So index starts with 0. So dot nth of 0 index, that will capture the first user image. So this locator is basically for first image. And similarly for user 2 and user 3, we just have to increase this index. So 1 and 2. So this one will, let me just change it, user 2 and user 3. So these are the locators for image 1, 2 and 3. Now once you captured the locator, next step is we want to hover on that locator. So first we want to hover on user 1, after that we want to hover on user 2, and then we want to hover on user 3. See, for that Playwright provides one method, that is user1 dot hover method. So this is as simple as it is. So you just have to use dot hover method on the element on which we want to perform hover action. So after hovering it, let's say I'm adding some timeout. Await page dot wait for timeout, so that we will be able to see. Otherwise it will happen so fast that we will not be able to see it when it gets executed. And similarly we will hover on user 2 as well. User2 dot hover, and after that again we will add some wait for that after that. So it will hover on second user, and similarly we can add for third user as well. So user3 dot hover, and we are adding some timeout, and then we can close the browser. So this is for hovering. So what this page will do, this is not needed actually. So we have captured all the locators for 3 images, user 1, user 2 and user 3. Then we are performing the hover action by using dot hover method on those element. So now let's save this file and let's execute by using command npx playwright. What is the file name? Mouse action underscore demo dot spec dot js hyphen headed mode hyphen project equals to Chromium, so that it will be executed on Chromium browser in UI mode. So now let's execute this file. So it will launch the browser. After launching the browser, it will hover on all the 3 images one by one. So first it should hover on first user, second it will hover on second user, and third it will hover on third user. So there is some error. What is this error? Okay, so we have missed npx playwright test. So after playwright we have to mention test as well. So now let's execute this file one more time. This time it should launch correctly. This time it should launch correctly. It should launch the browser. After, it is starting the test case now. So once the test case will start, it will launch the URL and it will hover on all those 3 user images one by one. Now it is opening the website. After opening this website, if you see first user, second user, third user, automatically it hovered on all the 3 user images. So this is how we can perform hover action on any element. So you just have to capture that element and you have to use dot hover method so that it will hover on that specific web element. Now let me show you one more mouse action, that is double click. Now I will just use test dot skip so that this test case will skip in next execution. I will just copy this. Let me copy this and let's paste it over. So we are now going to see for double click. So let's say mouse action, this is our test case name, double click. Let me just clear out this code. Now for double click, I'm just going to use this URL. Control C. Let's open this URL. We have already seen for hover action. Now we will see how to click double click. So sometimes we have to click double click operation, then how to perform that. So for that, let's say we have one web page. If you see this website, on this website there is one button. When you single click on this button, nothing happens. I am single clicking now. Nothing happens. But as soon as you double click on this, if you see congrats, you double click message is appeared. So let me just refresh one more time. So when this web page is opened, after opening this web page, when you single click on this button, nothing happens. But when you double click on this, it shows you some message. It shows you congrats message. So now this is my use case. I want to open this web page and double click on this button. So now let's write the code. So first we have to open this page. So we have to open this URL. After going to this web page, again we are going to click on that button. So we have to capture the locator of this button. So let me inspect that button. So let's inspect this button element. If you see, button is a tag name and this is the ID. So I'm just going to use this ID. So whenever we want to use ID, I'm just creating one constant. Let's say button equals to await page.locator, in which I'm just going to use ID element. So ID we can use like this, hash and name of ID of that specific button element. So it will capture this button. After capturing this button, what we have to do? So we have to just use double click method. Button dot dbl click. So this is the method name, dbl click. It will double click on this button. So it will double click on this button. And let me just add some timeout as well. Page dot wait for timeout. I am just adding timeout of 3 seconds. So let's save this file. So for double click, we just have to locate the element and then we have to use .dbl click method. So this method will double click on that specific button. So let's execute this file now. So let me execute this file. So it will execute our file. This time only this test case will run for double click, because previous test case we have used test.skip. So this skip method will be skipped and only this method will be executed. So only this method will be executed. So it is opening the page. If you see, it is clicking on that button, then only that double click text occurred, right? So this is how. Let me just execute one more time. So let's see, it will launch the web page, it will locate that button and it will double click on that button. We have seen when we double click on that button, then only that text is appeared which shows congratulations, you have double clicked. So it is starting the test case. Now it is launching the browser, and once browser is launched, it will double click on that button. If you see, so this is how we can use .dbl click method to double click on any element. So we have seen for hover action, we have also seen for double click. Now third option which we are going to see is basically for right click option. So let me copy this. Let me write a test block. So this is our test block for right click. So I'm just naming it as right click operation. And for right click, what I am going to do, let me show you one more web page. So this is the web page I am going to launch. So on this web page, let me show you. So this is the web page URL. Once this web page is opened, you can see there is one button called as right click me. On this right click me button, when I clicking single click of my mouse, then it is showing nothing is happening. When I double click, then also nothing happens. But when I right click on the mouse, now I am right clicking. So when you right click, you can see some options here. On single click, nothing happens. Double click, nothing happens. But when we right click on this button, we can see some additional options. This is called as a context menu options, which shows you edit, cut, copy buttons. So now what is my use case is, I want to launch this web page and then I want to click on this right click me button. So now let's copy this URL. Let's go to our Visual Studio Code. Let me just paste that URL here, which we want to open. So it will launch and it will open this web page. After opening this web page, we have to capture that right click button. So let me just write constant right click CTA equals to await page dot locator, and we have to pass locator of that button. So let me inspect element. So we have to capture this right click me button. So we want to catch that right click me button. So if you see, it is inside the p tag. Inside the p tag there is span tag. So I am just using xpath 2 times / and p. Then again I am using span. It is capturing only single element, and that is the element which we want to capture. If you see, this specific xpath is capturing only single element, that is the one which we want to capture. So I am just using this xpath. So let's use this xpath and pass it here. So it will store this button into this element, and now I want to right click on that element. So for that we have one command, that is await that locator, that is right click CTA dot click method, not clear but dot click method, and inside this click method we have to use curly brackets, and inside this curly bracket we have to use one parameter, that is button, and after button we have to provide which left or right key we want to click. So for our use case we want to click on right button of our mouse. So I am just passing inside this click method curly bracket button parameter. For that we have to provide this right value. So it will click on right key of our mouse. So it will perform right click on our mouse. After I'm just adding some timeout. So let's add some timeout of 3 seconds. Now let's save this file, and when you execute this file it will launch this URL and it will right click on this CTA, and when you right click on this CTA it will show you these options. So now let's run our file to see the actual execution, whether it is able to right click on that button or not. So it will start the test case. After launching the browser it will capture that locator and it will right click on that button, and then only we will see those additional options. So it is starting the test case. So it is launching the test case now. It is opening the URL. After opening this URL, now it will perform right click. If you see, automatically those options are displayed after right click. So this is how we can use different type of mouse actions. For example, we have seen for hover action. So we just have to capture that element and just use .hover method, so that when you execute that script it will hover on that specific element. We can perform right click. You just have to capture that element, use .click method, and inside that we have to pass button as a right. So it will click on the right click of mouse. And for double click we have to use .dbl click method. It will capture the locator and it will perform double click action on that element. So that's about hover, double click and right click actions in Playwright. In next session we will see how to perform drag and drop. Sometimes we have to perform drag and drop actions as well, that we will see in our next session. Thank you for watching this video.